This film is devoted to the memory of Evgeny Oscarovich Paton and describes the most important results of fundamental and implied studies of the Institute, founded by him, which are realized in the advanced technologies, machines, and structures. In far 1929, the scientist understood the future of engineering is indispensable of the progress in the technology of the permanent joining of materials. In January 1934, a small welding laboratory of Paton, belonging to the Academy of Sciences of Ukraine, was transformed into the Electric Welding Institute. The experience of a mass introduction of the welding technologies accumulated in the 30s permitted the young staff of Patonovites to accomplish the real scientific and labor exploits in the years of the World War II. The automatic high-speed submerged arc welding, nicknamed Paton Weld, became the actual technology of the victory. Then, the years of restoration came, and as a symbol of those years, the largest in Europe, the all-welded bridge through the Dnieper was constructed, named by the name of its creator. Since 1953, the Evgeny Oscarovich Paton Electric Welding Institute of the Academy of Sciences of Ukraine is headed by the academician Paton Boris Yevgenyevich. During this period, the institute has transformed into the largest research and development complex working in several main trends: welding, protective and strengthening coatings, special electrometallurgy, and new materials. At the research departments and laboratories of the Institute, the theoretical and experimental studies are being carried out aimed at the creation of high technologies. At the Experimental Design Technological Division, the unique equipment and control systems are being designed. The experimental workshops provide the scientific staff with instruments, samples, and materials. The pilot plant of welding equipment embodies the developments of the researchers and designers into the metal. The pilot plant of welding consumables implements the industrial technologies of manufacture of electrodes, fluxes, welding wires, and brazing alloys. At the pilot plant of new technologies and advanced technologies of producing new materials and manufacture of unique structures are implemented. The Institute also includes a specialized design technological division on welding, cutting, and metal treatment by explosion. The engineering centers, uniting the efforts of research, design, and production subdivisions, have been created at the Institute to considerably reduce the terms of introduction of the new technologies. This Institute structure is mainly aimed at the reduction as much as possible the time from the experimental single samples of the products and equipment to their wide application in the industry, as well as to enable the staff of the research departments to concentrate on the fundamental and searching studies. Summits of the Institute achievements are well known. They are recognized by the most prestigious international and national prizes, awards, diplomas. Brussels World Fair of 1958. Here, the Paton Institute and Krasny Kotelchik plant were awarded the gold medal for the presentation of the principal new method of electroslag welding. This method permits to join for one pass the metal of practically unlimited thickness, the welds not often requiring the subsequent heat treatment. The electroslag welding made a real revolution in the heavy machine building. The super-powerful presses, boiler drums, turbines for hydro and heat electric stations, and many other unique types of the equipment are manufactured with its help. The industrial method of construction of the large-capacity tanks became one of the famous achievements of the Institute. The automatic submerged arc welding of light sheet panels in sharp conditions replace the hard and low-efficient labor welders at the sites. After the uncoiling the coiled panel, the welders have only to weld a small amount of side welds. The terms of erection are 10 times reduced. The Patonovites, together with the Russian Institute, Smeet-Mash and Kherson Shipbuilding Yard, contributed largely into the development and implementation of the mechanized and automatic CO2 welding. Today, this reliable technology occupies one of the leading places as to the number of the operating units and the volume of the deposited metal. The movable machines for the flash butt welding of rails in the field conditions. First in the world practice, they were created by the Ukrainian scientists. The rail welding machines of the Patonovites are used in the construction of the seamless tracks of the high-speed railway and metro lines in many countries of the world. The continuous flash butt welding has also brought the radical changes into the technology of construction of the main pipeline. The unique complex sever can weld the circumferential joint of 1,420 mm diameter pipe for 3 minutes and completely eliminates the hard and low productive labor of the manual welders. The scientists of the Institute made also a considerable contribution into the development of the home technology of mass production of pipes of different diameters. Today, the Patonovites successfully continue their researches at main trends of the scientific technical progress. Welding by electron beam in vacuum. The focused beam of electrons provides a deep penetration at a minimum heat affected zone. Steels, non-ferrous metals, special alloys are welded by this technique. The high quality of metal in the zone of weld and a low level of residual strains are also typical to the laser welding. It is especially effective at the permanent joining of pairs of special steels, titanium and aluminum alloys of thicknesses of up to 8 mm. For welding refractory metals, titanium, molybdenum, tungsten, niobium, zirconium and their alloys, the Argon Arc Welding in the controllable atmosphere is widely used. And the structures of titanium and its alloys of any sizes and purpose are successfully welded with a tungsten electrode in argon. The filler flux cored wire and other special methods are also used. For welding the aerospace engineering objects of aluminium alloys, a principally new technology of the flash butt welding of frame rings and longitudinal welds of shells has been developed. It may be also successfully used in different branches of the national economy. The press magnetically impelled arc welding. The intensive and uniform heating of edges being welded reduces the energy consumption and makes the parent metal consumption minimum. The induction high-frequency pressure welding by using the activated additions. The pipes welded by this method have no flash, no damage of the ceramic coating. The welds are well inspected by non-destructive testing methods. The discharge of the powerful capacitor. Instantly the stud is welded to the steel plate. The capacitor type welding joins also the components of 10-15 micron. The microplasm welding, it found an application where the extra precision is required, for instance, in welding thin-walled pipes. At the Institute, the unique technologies and equipment for the manufacture of helically welded pipes of the coiled metal strip by using the high-frequency currents have been developed. The technology of diffusion welding is constantly updated. The combination of heating and pressure in vacuum gives an opportunity to produce the permanent joints of metals and non-metals with a wide range of preset physicochemical properties. The Patonovites have developed the portable and simple in-service machines for welding polymeric pipes and other plastic products. The scientists tamed and made to work the force of explosion, being destroying in the usual condition. Similar technologies are successfully used for cutting the demolishing rocketry. The explosion cutting localizes the damaged sections of the oil and gas pipelines. The explosion welding reliably joins the current-carrying bus bars, relieves the stresses, and removes the distortion of sheet structures. Technologies of welding works under the water are being updated. The semi-automatic machines designed at the Institute are widely used in repair of the underwater pipelines, ship hulls, hydro-engineering works. The Ukrainian scientists and engineers also effectively worked at the design of the production lines, means of complex mechanization and robotization of the welding production. This multi-program robotic complex has been created by Kyivites in collaboration with the colleagues from Belarus and Finland. It can perform welding of butts with a different their orientation in space. And this unique machine for the submerged arc welding permits to completely automate the process of the most labor-consuming overhead welding. The development of new technological processes of welding is integrally connected with the updated of power sources. A new generation of welding power sources on the base of thyristor and transistor converters-inverters has been developed. The application gives an opportunity to considerably reduce the consumption of energy and welding consumables. The modular principle of its design opened up the wide prospects for providing the industry with the advanced welding machinery. The computerized methods of designing do not only accelerate by many times the designing and manufacture of different welding equipment, but also permit to quickly update and modify the welding industry with minimum investments by the requests of customers. A large contribution of the Institute is also in the development of new welding and filler consumables. The flux-cored wires and strips, high-efficient, low-toxic electrodes stabilize the welding arc burning, decrease the metal losses, improve the quality of weld metal, permit to mechanize and automate welding and hard facing, increase the labor productivity, and improve the labor conditions of welders. The important traditional activity of Patonovites is the development of a reliable and economic welded structures. Together with the machine builders, the technology of fabrication of the multi-layer vessels of the coiled steel has been developed. At the level of the world achievements, the problem of fabrication and welding of thick plate tanks of stainless steel for the cryogenic engineering has been solved. Patonovites take part in the development of the technologies of welding of new structures of drilling platforms operating in the areas of water of many seas. And in the apartments, it is possible to see more often and often the panel radiators with vertical channels. The fabrication of the welded radiators by the technology of the Institute is an automated and ecologically clean process. From the day of the Institute foundation, the construction occupies a special place in its research activity. The advanced building metal structures and constructions are even inconceivable without application of welding. For many unique construction objects, the Paton Institute is developing the same unique welding technologies and most rational structures. And these light building structures of the Patonovites are widely used in various construction objects. Their application permits to reduce the terms of construction, to considerably improve its culture. In the laboratories of the Institute, equipped with modern test equipment, the strength of welded members and joints at different conditions of loading is studied. The effective methods of reduction of metal consumption in welded structures, increase of their reliability and life are being developed. And this simple device permits to many times increase the fatigue life of welded structures subjected to dynamic loading. The effect is provided by the ultrasonic treatment of the zone of weld transition to the parent metal. The scientists of the Institute actively introduced the non-destructive methods of quality control of welded joints, as well as means of technical diagnostics of welded structures and joints into the practice. The newest developments in this field, such as control with the help of a method of acoustic emission, holographic interferometry, present a great interest to the specialists. The creative work of scientists of the Institute and their constant cooperation with the industry gives an opportunity to implement in a very short time the high effective technologies of deposition, of super strong anti-corrosion, heat-resistant coatings for mass production. Their application considerably increases the service life of the equipment, permits to provide a high service reliability of the critical components and structures in the power engineering, metallurgy, mining, machine building. The manufacture and repair works become cheaper. The unique technology of restoration and surface strengthening of the geometrically precise and extra expansive products has been developed on the basis of the precision laser technology. The wide-layer electric arc hard facing with special types of self-shielding flux-cored wire strip is successfully used for the strengthening large-sized elements of the metallurgical equipment, mining, and road machinery. The effective method of strengthening internal combustion engine valves is for a long time a hard facing by freezing upon. At present, for this purpose, the plasma hard facing with a blowing in the alloyed powder is also successfully used. A large attention is paid at the Institute to the technology of deposition of the functioning coatings by using plasma and electron beam heat sources. One of the technologies developed by the Patonovites is the deposition of heat-resistant, wear-resistant metallic and ceramic coatings on the gas turbine blades by the electron beam evaporation and subsequent condensation in vacuum of metallic and ceramic materials. The thinnest layer of the coating of 1/10 millimeter thickness increases the life of blades from 7,000 up to 30,000 hours. The great prospects are expected by using the new super-frequency heat source, so-called gyrotron. The effective interaction with non-metallic materials, a high penetrability, unique selectiveness of heating, opens up the possibilities of development of the technologies of brazing, coating deposition, and other methods of treatment of non-metallic materials, having no analogs in the world practice. The gyrotron technology in particular can completely avoid the ecologically hazardous processes in manufacture of some types of the printed circuit boards. The numerous problems of strengthening the heavy-duty components of the aircraft and ship machinery equipment, stop valve bodies, can be solved by the installation pair room for the detonation coating. The equipment for microplasm spraying is designed for the deposition of super hard, wear-resistant coatings on the small-sized parts. The new equipment and technologies of the plasma spraying are characterized by high efficiency, low cost, and reliability. By its using, it is possible to deposit the long-life protective decorating coating of different enamels on the concrete. By extending the idea of Evgeny Paton about welding as a metallurgical process, the Patonovites have created and now are developing a special scientific technical activity, namely a special electrometallurgy. Furnace of electroslag remelting. In the process of remelting of electrodes and oriented solidification, the ingot is formed here with high physical-mechanical properties of metal. The natural development of this technology is an electroslag casting. It permitted to combine the geometric accuracy of casting with high quality of the forging. With the help of an electroslag centrifugal casting, the bodies of rotation are produced with a high quality of reliable working surfaces. The electroslag processes permit to utilize the wastes of different metals and alloys, transforming them into the high-quality billets and castings. And for the utilization of wastes of titanium and other reactive metals, the nanotechnology also born at the junction of welding and metallurgy, and electron beam melting is used. This updated technology is also indispensable for producing high-quality refractory, heat-resistant stainless steels and alloys. The plasma arc process occupies the important place in the industrial production. The three-phase furnaces with 3 plasmatrons are successfully operating at the Paton Institute. And in this chamber, filled with inert gas, the plasmatron melts the defective surfaces of the high alloy ingots and slabs of supersteels and alloys, the quality of the surface being drastically improved. The successful application of this technology in metallurgy permitted to eliminate the mechanical roughing and to considerably decrease the consumption of the expensive metal. Technology and equipment created at the Institute are successfully operating in space. Vulcan unit is for a long time a monument to the science and technology. On October 16, 1969, Valery Kubasov and Georgy Shonin, first in the world, performed in space the technological process of metal melting, electron beam and arc welding, developed at Paton Institute. After 9 years, a new unit of the Patonovites is Sporitel, designed for deposition of coatings with the thermocontrolling properties, was tested in the station Salyut 6. And in 1984, the cosmonauts Svetlana Savitskaya and Vladimir Janibekov performed welding, cutting, brazing by electron beam, and coating deposition in the outer space. All these operations were made by the versatile hand tool URI, designed and manufactured at the Institute. Its new, more sophisticated model is designed for a stationary application at the space stations for repair and erection of the space structures. As far back as in 1986, with the help of this hinge truss girder, the hardware Mayak was deployed in space. 4 years after, the Ukrainian scientists created the load-carrying truss structure for the solar batteries of orbital station Mir, which is successfully operating in space. Today, the large-sized welded truss structures for the orbital stations of new generations, the new welding technologies, are available for the cosmonauts who are working in a close collaboration with the Patonovites. In many countries of the world, the high technologies of Kiev scientists are used. The unique welding and metallurgical equipment is operated. The Institute is involved in international cooperation with welding societies, scientific centers, and leading companies of the USA, Germany, Great Britain, Japan, China, and other countries of the world. Together with the foreign partners, the joint job shops and ventures have been organized. The scientists of the Institute are participating in the activity of the International Institute of Welding, systematically present their scientific achievements at the congresses, symposia, and seminars. The commercial realization of research results, developed technologies, equipment and materials, information and consulting services is provided by the foreign trade firm INPAT of the Institute. On the Institute base, the International Scientific Council on Welding and Allied Technologies, the National Technical Committee on Standardization, the International Association Welding are functioning. Education of engineers and research staff is carried out together with Kiev Polytechnical Institute and Moscow Physico-Technical Institute. In accordance with the European rates, the professional training and qualification of welders of all levels is carried out. The many-sided activity of the Paton School is called for a long time the bridges that span the times. And it is believed that the main strength of the staff of the Patonovites is an ability to carry out today the fundamental studies and to create technologies on their base and prepare specialists for the tomorrow.